In this video, we're going to look at how to work with divine feminine archetypes. So we're going to start off by looking at what archetypes are, understanding how they can apply to us and why on earth we want to work with them. And then I'm going to explore 6 divine feminine archetypes that you can work with. Now, of course, there are many more than only 6 archetypes, but these are the 6 that I work with most. And the invitation for you is, as I go through the descriptions and the traits, is for you to really feel into the truth of what it is that I'm saying and feel how that truth expresses itself in your body. My name is Tertia, and on this channel, we talk all about self-worth and self-love, feminine energy, femininity, pleasure, magnetism, and all the ways in which you can stand in your sovereign power. If that speaks to your soul, then I invite you to subscribe and join our community, and also make sure that you hit the little bell, and this way you'll get notified of all of my new videos. So what are archetypes and why do we want to work with them? So you can think of archetypes as universal symbols that have their own expressions and their own aspect. And when we speak of these archetypes, when we name these archetypes, you'll notice that they bring images up in your mind, they bring words up in your mind, and you'll also notice that they bring intensity up into the body. So you might feel a moving towards or a repulsion when we speak of these different archetypes. Now, we live in a hyper-masculine world, and in this hyper-masculine world, thinking and the mind has really been honored. And in the process, what has happened is we have become disconnected from these divine feminine archetype energies that exist. Also, thousands of years of patriarchal rule and oppression has really suppressed the divine feminine. Now, this suppression or oppression is what causes us to attach sometimes maybe negative connotations to some of these archetypal energies that I'm going to be sharing with you. And just what comes to mind is words like crone or witch can maybe create even feelings of repulsion or fear. And when we speak of maiden, what comes to mind is how the maiden is honored in society today, in the media even, and we begin to attach value to our beauty and our youth with the idea that as we get older, as we get wrinkles, as we enter into our crone wisdom, we start losing value. So it really is just a very small example of how archetypes and the thoughts and the ideas that we have around archetypes expresses themselves into the world. Now, when we work with these divine feminine archetypes, it really allows their expression to awaken within us, and we can make the aspects of ourselves that has been hidden and that is unconscious, we can make that conscious, we can bring that to the light. So it really is an exploration into retrieving all aspects of self and embodying all aspects of self. And you'll find that there are certain instances in your life, so in your career or at home or in your intimate relationships, where you can then really draw on the expressions and the aspects of these divine feminine archetypes to support you into building better relationships or achieving your goals or standing more empowered. So now I want to take us through the 6 divine feminine archetypes. And the first one that I want to share with you is the wild woman. So the wild woman stands for your deepest truth. And she is this wild and untamed aspect of ourselves. She is the one who is really connected to our deepest heart's desire. She is the one who doesn't get told how to do things and how to be, but she really comes from full self-expression. Now, when the wild woman is in shadow, this full self-expression can often show up as impulsiveness. It can show up as rage and anger. Some signs that your wild woman needs to be contacted is when we are really disconnected from the body, when we are struggling to access our own wisdom and our own truth. The second divine feminine archetype is that of the warrior. So the warrior stands for truth. And this is not the truth necessarily for people out there, but it's the truth for self. It is the justice for self. It is the assertiveness and the courage for self. So the warrior is when we can enforce and uphold our own boundaries. The warrior is when we can speak our truth again and we come from a place of solid confidence. Now, when the warrior is in shadow, it might express itself as aggression and forcefulness. The shadow warrior can also mean that we avoid intimacy and that we keep emotional distance. Okay, so in her highest expression, the warrior is that of assertiveness and freedom. Now, the third divine feminine archetype that I want to share with you is that of mother. And the mother stands for unconditional love. So here we're not talking about the mother as in your mother or my mother, but we're really speaking about the mother as represented by Gaia or Mother Earth. And if you just think of what this mother embodies, it's fertility and it's nurturing and it's taking care of. And you don't have to be a mother to embody this mother energy. So anything that you create, anything that you bring into the world is an aspect of how this mother energy expresses herself. Anything that you care for and that you take care of is an expression of how she shows up in the world. Now, when the mother is in shadow, what could happen here, the way that it can show up in your life, is when there's a tendency to overgive. So an overextension, an overgiving, an over-nurturing at the cost of yourself, which then leads to resentment and leads to disappointment. The next divine feminine archetype is that of lover. And the lover stands for pleasure. So here again, as I've mentioned in some of my other videos, I don't speak of pleasure here as sexual pleasure, although it can be, but rather as a sensual pleasure. So if you imagine the lover as sensual and playful and completely ravishing life and enjoying all of the sensual aspects and pleasures that it has to offer, the lover is receptive and she's magnetic. She's confident and she's passionate. Now, the shadow side of the lover is manipulation. It's seeking external validation and self-absorption. And it may also be where we rely on our sexuality and we rely on our looks. And the moment that is no longer there as we begin to age, we then drop our level and our sense of self-worth. The wise woman is our next divine feminine archetype. And the wise woman stands for wisdom. So this is not only the wisdom of our own lived experience, but it's also the wisdom of our ancestors. And the wise woman has the ability to connect into this intuitive wisdom, to connect into the wisdom and metabolize that wisdom and then express that into the world. So the wise woman trusts her inner knowing. She's also deeply connected into the divine. And when the shadow of the wise woman shows up, it could be that we lose the ability to connect outwards because the focus is turned so much inwards. We become introverted and we really lose connection with the more mundane things in life because of this deep connection that we have inwards. And then our last or final divine feminine archetype that I'm going to talk about in this video is that of Queen. And the Queen stands for sovereignty. So when I feel into the Queen, to me, it means leadership in our own lives. It means sovereignty in our own lives. It means being the authority in our own lives. And you'll notice as I speak of these divine feminine archetypes, there are aspects that you can thread through and that you can pull through from all of them. So I don't believe that any one of these stands in isolation. And some of the expressions are stronger, and those are the expressions that we want to tap into certain areas of our lives. So for example, when we're working with the inner child, then accessing the mother archetype is going to be helpful. When we need to do something at work that has to do with our careers or with our salaries or getting promoted, then we want to tap into the warrior aspect. When we're working with beginning to slow down and really deepening into the wisdom of our bodies and connecting to our natural rhythms, we want to call on the energy of the wild woman. To me, the Queen speaks her truth and she knows her own depths and she's not afraid to travel there. So the Queen really has faced all of her shadows and she's allowed these shadows to be integrated. She embraces all aspects, her light and her dark, and she really shows up as a full-bodied and a full alive woman. So these then are really the tip of the iceberg when it comes to these divine feminine archetypes. And I'm really curious to find out how this landed for you and which of these archetypes, which of these traits or even the shadow parts resonated the most with you. Let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, if you want to see more videos like this, please let me know in the comments and also give this video a thumbs up. Share this video with anyone who you think might find it helpful. If you are not yet subscribed, then I invite you to join us. Please subscribe. We'd really love to have you on board. Thank you as always so much for watching. I really appreciate you. I love you and I will see you in the next video. Bye.